This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by Full Sail University. Welcome back to another episode of Ask the Buffalo. This is the show where you can ask me, John Rettinger, any question you've got from the wide world of technology. Up this week, we're going to talk about a rumored Microsoft Surface RT tablet coming in at about $200. We're going to talk about rooting and jailbreaking. We're going to talk about an iPad mini. We're going to talk about what the heck we do with all the phones that we get here at Techno Buffalo offices. I'm John Rettinger. Let's get started. User AllWaleed asks, how much do you think the Microsoft Surface RT will cost? Well, the answer appears to be $200, and that's a really interesting price point. Certainly $200 is on par with the lower end 7-inch tablets that we've got right now. Kindle Fire, Nexus 7. Putting a full-scale operating system on a tablet under $200 is a complete game changer. Microsoft is obviously going to be taking a huge loss on each tablet sold to get the tablet into the hands of the users and hopefully make that back on apps and licensing. Same model that video game industry has been using for years. Console manufacturers almost always take a loss at initial launch of the device, and then through its lifespan they make it up, and eventually component costs come down and they're able to sell the console at a profit. But what this means is it's extremely disruptive for the industry. Other manufacturers certainly use Windows. We've had folks like Toshiba pull out of the tablet market. You had Acer come out and say Microsoft is really isolating some of their partners. They're going to have to try and compete with what Windows is doing on a price standpoint. And chances are they're not going to have the bankroll to be able to do it, or the war chest, as they call it. So what's this going to mean? Are we going to see fewer Windows tablets on the market? Maybe, maybe not. We might see a new class of tablets come out, maybe a super high premium to offer something that the Surface doesn't offer. Or perhaps we'll see manufacturers look towards third-party operating systems. Maybe even Linux might make a comeback. Maybe Chrome OS, Firefox. But regardless though, it'll be interesting to actually get a full-fledged tablet for $200. I'm very curious to check out the Microsoft Surface. User Josh asks, hey John, with the rumored iPad mini being brought up, what size tablet would you use on a daily basis? The 7-inch mini or the 9.7-inch regular iPad? So rumor has it that the iPad mini will be announced at the September 12th Apple event, which is still, at least as of this filming, yet to be announced. It'll probably come in about 7.85 inches if it does even exist, and that's against the 9.7-inch full-sized iPad. So I've used a Nexus 7. I really like that 7-inch size. It's very pocketable. It's portable, but generally most of my tablet use is done at home, sitting on the couch, watching a YouTube video in bed, browsing the web, responding to emails. I prefer the larger screen size. So for me, the regular iPad, the new iPad, iPad 3, whatever you want to call it, will still be my daily tablet. However, for traveling, an iPad mini may actually be absolutely perfect. What's going to be best for you guys? Do you prefer a 7-inch? Do you prefer a larger tablet? Are you excited about an iPad mini? It would seem to me though that a 7-inch iPad would be more of a big iPod Touch. So maybe it would even be called the iPod Touch Maxi. They already called something the pad. Might as well just throw the Maxi in there as well. We'll see though in just a couple weeks. So user Liam Aikens Armbruster asked, hey John, you obviously use a ton of phones and actually make calls on them and use them with the service. Do you set up a plan with each of them, or do you just put your SIM card in whichever phone you decide to use that day? Whenever a phone is sent to us from any carrier or manufacturer, they're generally sent with a contract. If they're a GSM-based phone, meaning AT&T or T-Mobile, they always have a SIM card in them with a full data plan and number associated with it. If they're on the CDMA side, even with the LTE, Sprint, or Verizon, they always have services with them as well, so they've got data plans and numbers. So we test a phone. If it's an AT&T phone, which I use on a regular basis, I'll just pop my SIM card in and I'll use that phone for the prescribed period of time, generally about 5 to 6 days for full testing. If it's any other carrier, so if it's T-Mobile, Verizon, or Sprint, I'll do call forwarding. So I'll take my regular phone, I'll set calls to forward to that device. We'll use them for generally the loan period is about 2 to 3 weeks, and then we'll send them back off to the carrier or manufacturer. And that's really how it works. Just like you guys, I have one phone number that I use. I have one phone that I generally carry with me when I'm not testing something new, and right now, that's the Galaxy Nexus. Whenever I do want to try something new though, just for my own use, then I will just pop my SIM card in and take it with me. So I want to take a quick minute to thank our friends and sponsors at Full Sail University. App development is all the rage now. It's the next Silicon Valley gold rush, and you can get in and get a piece of that action. Full Sail University's online mobile department bachelor's degree program can teach you the skill set you need to take advantage of all those emerging opportunities. In this degree, you'll learn both the computing and business side of mobile development, so you can concept, develop, deploy, and market applications from start to finish. You'll develop advanced programming languages, visual frameworks, usability principles, and app development for the iOS and Android operating systems. Yay! Through Full Sail's Project Launchbox program, students can receive a MacBook Pro preloaded with industry software plus iOS and Android devices. Courses are delivered through Full Sail's immersive online education platform, which maximizes capabilities of the Mac, giving you a learning experience unlike any other. If you want to get in on all that action, go to fullsail.edu/technobuffalo to learn all of your app development skills. Again, that's fullsail.edu/technobuffalo. User Nick is Chi-Town's finest asks, hey John, do you have a root jailbreak your phones, or do you generally run them stock? So the answer is both. With the phone that I have to use for testing, so I generally compare the iPhone versus the Android devices that are coming out. So my iPhone particularly will run completely stock. I have jailbroken in the past. I've used all kinds of different jailbreaking tools. I've played with jailbreaking. For the main phone that I used to test with, I always got to keep them raw and pure. On the Android side, since we have so many Android devices, generally I will do some hacking and tinkering. I have rooted several devices in the past. I've tinkered with custom ROMs. My favorite definitely being the Cyanogen ROMs. They've got Cyanogen Mod 9, which is based on Ice Cream Sandwich. It's been released now and is stable. Cyanogen Mod 10, which has got Jelly Bean on it, is sort of in a very alpha release phase. For the most part, the devices that I use and that we have, I'll use for testing and comparison purposes. And I like to make sure that those are as stock as they can possibly be to give the most fair and balanced comparison. However though, comparing rooted phones to rooted phones or comparing custom ROMs to custom ROMs might be something very interesting for us to consider. And if something that you guys want to see, let us know. Leave the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Ask the Buffalo. For all your latest and greatest tech news, be sure to check us out at technobuffalo.com. I'm John Rettinger. I'll see you in the next video.